Is a Coby White trade the next move to drop for the Chicago Bulls? We got to talk about all that and more on today's episode of the Chicago Bulls Breeze. Let's go. Appreciate you guys for tuning in and rocking with us for another edition of the Chicago Bulls Breeze. Hit that like button, subscribe to the page, leave a 5-star review. Y'all know what to do. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Do you think that a Coby White trade is the next move to be made for the Chicago Bulls? Drop Y for yes, drop N for no. Appreciate you guys for rocking with us as always, man. So yesterday, Bobby Marks was talking on NBA Today and made some very, very interesting comments about three names to watch for that the Chicago Bulls could trade away. He brought up, of course, Nikola Vucevic. He brought up Lonzo Ball, who Casey Johnson dropped a little nugget on draft capital pricing for Lonzo Ball. So we'll talk about that as well. But then he finished it out by talking about Coby White. He said, here are three names to keep an eye on. Look for Chicago to keep building up with their draft assets, and they have started to accumulate in the Zach LaVine trade. Listen, I'm not surprised by any of these names. I think Coby White is a little bit more surprising to most people because there was a belief that, okay, you're going to hold on to him. He's going to be a scorer for you in the future. He's going to be somebody that you can build around. We saw the strides that he took when Zach LaVine was not on the court versus when he was on the court last season. Maybe you wait and see. But I've continued to say this about Coby White, and it still holds true. I love Coby. I think that he is a great scorer at times. The averages look really good. But when you go through the game by games and you see the games where, hey, you're supposed to be our number two, we can't not have you out there as our number two. Those are the games where you kind of just stand there looking around going, I don't know if we can count on Coby in these moments, right? I think back to the Detroit game that we just saw on Sunday. That was a perfect time for Coby White to come back and be the Coby that we expected. Now, of course, working his way back in from a little bit of injury, so that could play a part in it as well. But how many times have we seen that where, hey, I need you to step up here. Zach LaVine is out. Now we know due to probably the trade here, but Zach LaVine is out, and we're going to need you to give us a little bit more today. 7 points. Right, you get yourself going at the end, but through the first 3.5 to 4 quarters until the last 5 minutes of the game, 7 points. That's something that, to me, you can't rely on a consistent basis. And so while Coby may be a solid number two, maybe more of a number three scorer on a team, can you count on Coby to be that guy that you're going to pay that next big contract? I don't think that you're there with him right now. I don't think that that's going to be a conversation you can really have with Coby. By the way, you can also get some really good production out of Io in that role, and I think it makes a heck of a lot more sense to roll with Io in that spot versus rolling with Coby White. Now, listen, I think that you need to get more draft capital than what you've gotten for the rest of these guys for Coby White because of the age, because of the contract, team-friendly contract. He should be the one that you're talking about getting possibly a late first-round pick if you end up sending him somewhere, or possibly getting some young players back that actually are going to be on the team for the long term and not just for, a season, maybe 2 seasons, right? I think Coby White's actually somebody who could bring back a little bit of draft value because of all of the good things that you have built around him. And all of I think, dare I say, with Coby White, you have some leverage as well. Still a year on the contract. You're not in the last year of his deal. You've got the youth. You've got the scoring ability. Like, to me, when he was brought up, and I saw somebody talking about Coby White to the Magic, I don't know if that's going to be the case. That would be an interesting addition to them. But if Coby White is going to be moved somewhere, right, like it should be somewhere where you can get something back that actually helps your team in the long run. I think that he could be your best asset that you move out of all of these pieces. Maybe Vooch is still up there as well, but to me, a Coby White deal absolutely does make sense. I think it's a move that you can make. I understand, right? He's 24. He's young. Why would you move on from these guys? We've seen this already, guys. And if Coby White goes on somewhere and he becomes a superstar, then we'll regret it then. But right now, what we've seen with the Bulls and what we've seen with this current iteration of the team and what we've seen with what you're currently building, that's what you're going to get out of Coby White for right now. Maybe that changes in the long run. Maybe it doesn't, but he's a solid 18 point per game scorer. Going to be an okay to more mediocre defender for more times than not. He's somebody that can go off for a big night and give you the big points. And I think that he'll be really good if you have a really good number one next to him. The problem is here in Chicago right now, you don't have a good number one. And so you have to go out, get the number one, and then find that Coby White yet again. That's kind of the position that you put yourself in. I'm not mad at this. Let me know how you guys feel in the comments below. I'll be down there talking with you as well. Do you think that a Coby White trade for the Chicago Bulls makes sense? I think that this would net the Bulls some of that draft capital that maybe they are looking for. Something else that came across the docket, by the way, hit that like button, subscribe to the page, leave a 5-star review. Y'all know what to do. Something else that came across the docket that I actually thought was very, very interesting was Casey Johnson talked about yesterday, right, waiving a couple of players, and we brought the Lonzo contract, the Lonzo possibility of a trade up. Bobby Marks again saying that Lonzo Ball is somebody that you have to watch for in this deal, but KC tweeted this out yesterday, said fluid week, but currently hearing there's optimism for a Lonzo Ball trade in which draft capital would be acquired. Well, since then, we've gotten some clarification on that draft capital. Basically, the Chicago Bulls are looking for around 2 second-round picks for Lonzo Ball, but at a minimum, they are shopping Lonzo for second-round picks at this point. They, not to say that they wouldn't take 2, but if there is one, but it's a good deal, it's going to be a better second round pick, that they would be intrigued by that. And listen, I understand how Lonzo has been playing has been absolutely lights out. I love the fact that he's come back and he's played at such a high level. I think that's great for the Chicago Bulls moving forward. Because I think it allows you to get the best case scenario out of this situation. Lonzo Ball is an often injured player. Yes, he's come back from injury. Yes, he's played well. Guess what? He had 35 games with the Bulls where we thought he was going to be great, and then we didn't see him for 3 years, right? Like, to me, this is the time to move Lonzo. This is the best time to move Lonzo. You're getting the best draft capital, probable offers that you're going to get for Lonzo. I think getting back 2 second-round picks, especially if you're getting them from a team that possibly is going to be a little bit higher up in the draft situation, I would love that for the Chicago Bulls. I think that again is a best-case scenario type of deal where you're trying to get in a vast amount of young players. And listen, the one thing that AK does have to his name is, hey, I got a big name superstar in the second round. I was a part of a front office that brought in Nikola Vucevic. I've been the guy that has found those guys in the second round, and he found guys here in the second round, right? Aldo Sumo, he was able to find in the second round. So to me, I think that this is, again, best case scenario, not the situation you want to be in. But with Lonzo Ball's injury history, you know that that's going to be a major concern. Nobody's giving you first-round picks because of the injury history. With the age, yes, he's coming off of the surgery. The age does help you a little bit here, but also somebody's going to have to re-sign Lonzo Ball. And I think that's going to be the part where this could get tricky. You got to trade him somewhere where he's going to want to re-sign, because why would I give up draft capital if I don't know he's going to want to come here and stay here? Charlotte, to me, is an interesting team to throw into the mix because of the Ball brothers connection, seeing Lonzo and LaMelo play together. We know that Pops is probably wanting that right now. But I think that that's an interesting situation because, number one, I don't think it makes Charlotte vastly better. I think it makes them moderately better. I do think it helps them, but I don't think it puts you in such a position where now all of a sudden you're drafting at the bottom of the second round here. I think they'd be an interesting team to keep an eye on, especially if you can get a 2025 second round pick out of them. I got to double check that. Charlotte may not even have a 2025 second round pick because I believe, if I'm not mistaken, that was one of the picks that was sent in no, they do have a 2025 second round pick via the New Orleans Pelicans this season, but I believe their own second round pick was sent in that trade, although there are conditions on that second round pick. Yeah, that was a part of the trade that went to Sacramento. No, that was the first round pick. I'm sorry. The second round pick went to Indiana, and it has protections on it for selections 31 through 55 if the pick falls within that projected range, and therefore is not conveyed to Charlotte. Then Charlotte committed commitment to Indiana will be lifted. Okay, so basically, if they land between 31 and 55, which right now it seems like that pick would, the protections fall off. That would be a better situation. You give me a 2025 and 2026, or actually give me both of the 2025 seconds. New Orleans Pelicans ain't doing that great either. You give me both those 2025 seconds, and let's have a day. Let's have a day. Because the 2026 second, one of them that they own their own, and then they also own Denver's as well. So I'm in on making a deal, trying to get something done. I think Charlotte would be an interesting team, of course, because the possibility of Lonzo actually re-signing there. I think the Pelicans would be back to being an interesting team. I think there's a couple of teams around the league that could be enticing. And I will say this, right? When you hear the Vucevic name out there that Bobby Marks threw out there as well, to me, that could you possibly package something to send Vooch and Lonzo out to Golden State? I know Golden State is interested in finding a big man right now. Vooch, to me, kind of fits what they want to do there. A guy who can give you 20 and 10 down low, going to be able to make some really nice plays for you, going to be able to operate out of the paint and kick it out to an open Stephen Curry in the corner. Lonzo Ball, with the three-point shooting that he's been showing on display, with how he's been shooting the ball, with the IQ that he has coming off of the bench, I think that those situations make a lot of sense. So I think the Bulls have some options here if they want to move guys around, and of course still trying the possibility of flipping Kevin Huerter and or Trey Jones, so both of those names too to keep an eye on as well. It'll be interesting to see what the Bulls do in the long run, but at a minimum, hearing that these three names are involved in the trade talks, hearing that the Bulls are going to be active in moving some of these pieces, I like to hear that because it means you're picking a direction, and that direction is we need to get the best pick that we can get in this draft right now because we need to start finding superstars. And unfortunately, when you brought all these guys in, it was fun, it was active. We were 9 games on a 9-game win streak. We were above 500, but we knew there wasn't a superstar on the team. That's what it comes down to. You need superstars to win in this NBA, and maybe the Dallas Mavericks will trade you Kyrie Irving. I don't know. They're just giving guys away. Who knows? Appreciate you guys for tuning in and showing love. Hit that like button, subscribe to the page, leave a 5-star review. Y'all know what to do. Of course, we will be back live on the Daily Show today over on The Breeze, so tap in with us over there as well. As always, man, it's your boy Pat, the designer, back at it again. Y'all stay safe out there, Chicago. See Red Nation. Stand up. Peace.